Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow, Extreme Health Club, and Lockshield Partners Accounting Services.
Trevent Hayes, KY Sports TV. I'm here with James Brown from 104 The Score. We are here at the Glasgow Electric Plant Board, local channel 6, the local channel.
Yeah.
Kind of went a little backwards there. It's been a long week, James.
Oh, I mean, you're only preparing for your rivalry this Friday, but before we get to all that.
Yes.
We'll talk about your game last Friday that you guys won up at Shawnee, and then,
Let's talk Glasgow Barren County first.
Yeah, because man, that was an epic game. I mean,
It was
20 years of covering. You know, I mean, they took a 7-year break, so 13 football games I think I've covered between the two of them playing each other. And the thing I always tell people, just from my job is to observe and take photos and whatever it is. I just want to see a good game between the rivals. We've had some close games, but I don't think we've ever had just like necessarily a good game in the ones I've covered. Now, there have been some before, but that was not just a good game, that was a great game. Both teams made big plays, both teams made mistakes, overcame mistakes. I think both teams, both coaching staffs did a good job of kind of knowing what the other one was going to do and trying to take it away. Went into double overtime, and Glasgow ended up winning 36-35 on a kick by Wesley Travis, which is kind of redemption for Wesley because the first touchdown Glasgow had, he missed it after a penalty, backed it up 5 yards, so he got a chance to get the winning kick there in that situation. But yeah, I mean, it was just a kind of game you would like to see between rivals when you get right down to it.
And it's, I mean, anytime it's a rival, high school, college, pro, whatever, when it's a lopsided game, it doesn't make it fun.
No.
You don't want to be a part of a lopsided game.
No. And I tell you what, I think if there's like 3 people that I would pick, maybe 4, that shined in the game for Barren County, it would obviously be Tate Spillman and Jackson Bird, who's a sophomore. So that's a junior quarterback and a sophomore wide receiver. Jackson Bird had over 100 yards receiving, had the opening touchdown of the game. Tate Spillman demonstrated why he is the quarterback, not just because he threw the ball, but he made some plays with his feet at different times. And then I'd say on the Glasgow side, you had Mason Arms, and I would say all of the offensive linemen, but especially when you get down, it's like Frankie Cianci, Ryan Randall, and Rad Gentry. They've been playing on that offensive line together for a number of years now. And so Mason Arms on the defensive side had 14 tackles, I think it was. I think he had a rushing touchdown. So, it was kind of like one of those, the skill players didn't necessarily shine for Glasgow, but the core of what they are this year and what I think makes them good did. So it was just a good game. It was a lot of fun to watch from start to finish. And, this is a 2-year cycle for them. As you know, when they did the redistricting and reclassification this time, it's only for 2 years instead of the 4, because of trying to get the numbers student population numbers that were kind of skewed during the pandemic. So hopefully this spring, when they come back around and start working on the schedules for the next 2-year cycle, they'll look at that. That game helps the coaches and the administrators at the schools decide, this is a game we need to play every year.
I just always think you need to play your rivalry.
Yeah.
And the community, it gives everybody something to look forward to. But that district that Glasgow's in, I was talking to a guy this morning, that could be, I think, the toughest district in the state of Kentucky in all classes.
Yeah.
You've got Glasgow, Adair, Franklin Simpson, and Hart are all undefeated.
Well, Adair has 1 loss.
Adair,
they lost to Franklin Simpson 28-21.
I didn't know they played already, so they have 1 loss. But Glasgow, Franklin Simpson, and Hart are all in the top 10.
Yep, that's right.
That's rough.
Yeah, and they're all 5-0. This week, Glasgow goes to Adair. And so it'll be interesting because Adair's good. I mean, Stonebreaker came over there, and they're a tough team to beat.
Yeah.
But they still would probably be the 4 team, just if you were to look at things right now, because Hart, we knew they were going to come back and be good this year. Franklin Simpson seems to be getting back to what you expect from Franklin Simpson.
Right.
And we knew Glasgow would be good this year, mostly because of those middle of that offense, middle of that defense that we talked about, line and
That
linebackers.
line, yes.
So, yeah, but you're right. That district is a real strong district. I don't know of any other district that has 3 teams in it in the top 10 in any classification.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Now, you guys had a good win up at Shawnee. I think you got everybody back healthy.
I got everybody back but Connor Mudd. He could have played Friday.
Yeah.
But I wanted to wait until this week to let him play. So now he's at 100%. I have everybody at 100%.
Yeah, which is good for you because you're about to face one of those undefeated 3A teams out of Glasgow's district.
We are. We are. Last year, I think it was 63 to nothing.
Yeah.
And it's never been that bad.
Yeah.
It's never been that bad. And so the kids yesterday at practice, they were talking about, well, we haven't beat Hart County since 2002. And Trevor was like, no. We beat them in 2015.
Yeah.
He was a senior. So it's been several years. It's been 8 years since Caverna's beat Hart County.
Now, I don't think you guys have ever had a drop in not playing each other. Is that right? Or has there been a period?
Never have.
Yeah.
Not that I can recall. I mean, and some years Caverna and Hart County used to play twice.
Really?
Yes.
So I guess that was just because of the
Back in the
numbers?
70s and 80s,
okay.
yeah, they used to play twice.
So Caverna was established the early days of Hart County High School, I guess.
Oh, yes. Caverna's been around for a while.
Yeah, 1949.
1949.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about what you guys did at Shawnee, because I think, Jalen Crane came back. He went out in the first quarter of the game against Eminence, was it? And then he was out the next week as well. But he came back and had a 40-yard touchdown to get you guys going. And that, he had the first touchdown of the game against Eminence.
Right.
So immediately he had an impact getting back on the field.
He does. And, it's just hard when you've got an athlete like Jalen. It's hard to sit and watch him be on the sideline because the impact that he can have on a game. And I go back to the Eminence game. If he doesn't get hurt, we beat Eminence.
Yeah. I think they just got in the top 10 in 1A.
They just got in the top 10, and we were, we had them 18 to nothing. Jalen gets hurt, and, they start picking on the weaker side of our defense. But, having Jalen back opens up so many things on offense.
Yeah.
LD Wagner's had a good game rushing the last 3 games. Defensively, he's still ranked in the state in tackles. Kenyon Martin had a pick 6 Friday. I think we have 9 or 10 interceptions on the year and 3 pick 6s.
Yeah.
We look good. We look good. But then we did have a breakdown to where our line just kind of took about 4 series off, and so we punted it more than we wanted to punt Friday. But we've got a lot of athletes, and like I said, now that we're healthy, it just opens up so many things for us on both sides of the ball.
I imagine the thing about this Hart County game for you, in a way, is it's a rivalry game. The emotions are going to be high. A lot of the kids know each other, probably grew up with each other, but for you start your district schedule next week. And Hart. Best team Hart's ever had. I'm not saying you're not trying to win the game,
right?
But I am saying you probably want to get through that game without people getting hurt.
And that's what I tell our staff is, we're going to go be competitive, and we've put a game plan together to try to win the game, but we're not going to do anything crazy to jeopardize getting a kid hurt, because this game, other than bragging rights, it means nothing. We're not in the same district. We're in 2 totally different classes. It means more to me to win the district with a healthy team than to, win the game tomorrow night, because tomorrow night, it does nothing.
Yeah.
So I take losing this week and win all 3 district games, 100 out of 100.
Yeah.
Because we haven't won a district at Caverna since 1986.
Really?
1986, yes.
Wow.
So this could be the start of something that could be really good for the next 3 to 4 years. And, who knows, you start getting a winning culture, maybe more kids are going to want to play, kids that usually wouldn't play. Maybe we can get the ball rolling and get these kids interested in Little League, middle school, and I just think that winning the district is way more important than any of these games that we've played so far.
You know, going back to would rather win the 3 district games and take this loss in this rivalry game, I think that's kind of an interesting situation for both Glasgow and Barren coming off that epic game that they played.
Right.
Is the emotions were so high. There were so many fans in the stands. I mean, they're not going to play in front of that many people again unless they get real deep in the playoffs probably.
Right.
So it's going to be curious to see how Coach Jeff Garman for Glasgow and Coach Tommy Muse for Barren get their kids ready for this week, because Glasgow's got the district game in Adair County. That's not going to be a rollover for them. And Barron's, it's homecoming week for them. They're going to play Greene County, and Greene County is probably going to be the second best team they've played on their schedule.
Right.
Even though they lost to Monroe, I do believe Greene's better than Monroe.
Right.
So it's curious this week to see how the coaches get their players ready for the games that count, you know, as we start going forward.
And that's the toughest part as a coach is you know, kind of toning these kids down to, you know, it's Hart County week. I understand that it's Hart County week.
Yeah.
But we don't need to get, you know, on an emotional high and lose focus on what our end goal was. And, you know, my goal has been the same all year. Be 500 or better and win the district.
Yeah.
Coming off of the seasons that's been there at Caverna in the last, you know, 6, 7, 8 years, that's just a tremendous turnaround, you know.
Well, and you mentioned not having won a district. I mean, there's been stretches where Caverna hasn't even played a district schedule.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
They've been trying to, they tried to generate the interest by just, you know, let's win some games.
Right.
But then that meant a lot of road trips that probably were draining for guys, and folks were, and look, in the end, when it comes to competition, people want to play for something.
Right.
Not just play.
And you know, a prime example is this year, that now that we're in a district, you know, Tyson, we've got 6 kids that's statistical leaders in the state of Kentucky. In the top 10, I think Tyson is actually number 2 in scoring. He's number 2 or 3 in tackles. I have 3 different kids ranked in interceptions. LD Wagner is ranked in the tops of the state. And when you're not recognized in the district, you don't get those accolades.
Yeah.
And, you know, our kids aren't playing for those individual honors, but it is good for them to be able to see, hey, you know, I am competing with everybody in the state.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here on Tell Me About It on the Glasgow EPB Channel 6, a local channel, and we'll be right back to talk about some golf.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, local channel. You can catch us live every Thursday at 6 p.m. on the TV, or you can catch us on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel anytime on 104thescore.com and kysports.tv, also anytime on those. Trevent had to hit the road, and so we're going to talk a little bit about some high school golf. The Region 3 boys and Region 3 girls golf tournaments were Tuesday and Wednesday. The boys played Tuesday at Indian Hills Country Club in Bowling Green. The pin placement was apparently very rough for most folks out there. We went into the event with some expectations, I think, or hopes, and certainly the players' hopes, that Glasgow would be in contention as a team to win the title, and Jamison Corbin of Barren County would be in contention as an individual to win the title. None of that really worked out. Bowling Green was on fire the whole day. Ben Davenport ended up winning as an individual, which he's the number 2 golfer for Bowling Green. Their number 1 golfer, Reed Ritchie, I think finished second. Ben was 5 under, which was kind of impressive considering when you looked at the scores. I think Reed Ritchie was the only other person under par at 1 under, I think is what it was. And Jacob Lang, who was the other favorite to win and really came in, I mean, I think he's been right there as one of the number 2 or 3 golfers in the state, maybe number 1 in some tournaments all year long from Greenwood. And he double bogeyed his last hole, which was, he was at 1 under. And so I think he ended up finishing 1 over. And, but unfortunately, Jamison Corbin had his worst day of this year, his senior year, which has got to be devastating for him because it is his senior year. I think he ended up finishing at 10 over, and he did get to go and play in the first alternate playoff. And so basically what happens next, and we'll get back to the scores of Glasgow and the other guys for Barren, but basically what happens next is last year, the KHSA decided to set the state golf tournament a little differently than it had been historically. And they added a first round of a golf tournament, which some people would call semi-state, but it's not what it's called by the KHSA. And so after the region, you will go to the first round of the state tournament. It will not be played at Bowling Green Country Club. There are 3 sections across the state. And so the Region 3 section plays in Section 1 at Calvert City Country Club next week. And then qualifiers from there then go on to the final state tournament at Bowling Green Country Club the week of fall break. So the first week of October, I think is the way it works out. So now what happens is the top 2 teams and the next 10 individuals not on a qualifying team go to the semi-state, the first round of the state at Calvert City. So Bowling Green was the number 1 team. Greenwood came back and edged Glasgow by a stroke to get second. And so those 2 teams qualified, and they're 10 golfers. So then you have the next 10 golfers that qualified. And in this case, for Glasgow, it was Bo Shelton and Jace Cook, who are both seniors. And then 7th grader Griffin Jackson also qualified. So those 3 Glasgow golfers will be going to the semi-state. And then Barren County's Kyler Keeney also made that cut as one of the 10 individuals. Now, what they did is they have a little playoff after that for all the people who are like next in line, say number 11. And Jamison Corbin was in that, and Tate Pace for Glasgow. And I don't remember who else was in it. Maybe Braden Furlong for Barren was in that first alternate. Now, what will happen is Jamison ended up winning that playoff. And if one of those 10 individuals drops out, then Jamison will be able to go to play in that first round of the state at Calvert City Country Club. It feels very convoluted when you get right down to it, instead of just the classic top 2 teams and next 7 qualifiers just go on to Bowling Green and play 2 rounds. The KHSA decided they needed to start reducing the numbers at the actual state tournament because pace of play was too slow. Honestly, to be honest about it, especially in the girls' state tournament. And so you wind up with, I think, 95 total golfers playing at Bowling Green Country Club. That situation may seem a little convoluted just because of the way it all works out now. Like I said, when you get to 95 golfers, what happens at that first round of state is you get the top 3 teams and then the next 15. So you have 3 sections, and so I think that comes up to 95 golfers that will then go on and play at the Bowling Green Country Club. And the same situation for the girls tournament. So let's talk about that one a little bit. The girls played at Park Mammoth Golf Club on Wednesday. And going in, I think, the Barren County girls were one of the teams that had a shot at winning it. And we kind of ended up with the same situation as we did in the boys. South Warren's number 2, actually really their number 3 golfer, I think had her best day of her career. I think she might be a sophomore. And so South Warren ended up running away with the girls team title as well. And then Barren, they struggled. Their 4 and 5 golfers had been playing pretty well lately, but they had rough days out there at Park Mammoth. That course is kind of tough just because it's so deceiving, because it's so much bigger than it looks. And so, but it's that an empty space kind of parallaxis situation that you might have there, where you're standing on a tee box and you look and you do your reading and it tells you how far it is, but it still has got to look closer than it really is. So they struggled a little bit out there. But Bowling Green, which is coached by Barren County graduate Logan Steenbergen, ended up finishing 2nd. So those are your 2 team qualifiers. Barren County finished 3rd as a team. And Lucy Zala, and she finished in the top 8. And then also Chloe Witcher and Kinsey Edwards all made the cut to go to the first round of the state tournament. Also at Calvert City Country Club, I think they play their round on Monday, and maybe the boys play Tuesday. But so they all made the cut, and but unfortunately, they didn't really challenge for the team title, and they didn't make the cut as a team. Glasgow actually has been rebuilding their program. They had 5 seniors graduate a couple of years ago, and won the region, and so they had nobody coming back, and so Coach Bart Roberts has basically recruited some younger players and a couple of juniors to start playing. And I didn't think they were going to enter their team into the regional tournament. They did. They struggled, as you would expect. I think they're 2 7th graders, 2 juniors, and maybe a freshman or a sophomore, maybe a freshman playing. And for the most part, I think 3 of the 5, maybe 4 of the 5 are playing for the first time, at least competitively. Emery Gardner was the only one. Last year was her first year playing, and she was a sophomore then, so she was the only one coming back with any experience, hoping that she would be able to make the cut as an individual. She missed it by a couple of strokes or so, but good to see them out there getting that experience, and hopefully it motivates them to work and get better. They've got some good-looking young players. And Glasgow, it's kind of a shame. Glasgow's girls program obviously is one of the best historically in the state of Kentucky. I think they have 6 state championships. That may be 2nd or 3rd on all, on the list of team titles. So it's good to see them trying to rebuild the program, getting back to it, and maybe they'll get there next year. They'll get back into what we have seen historically from the Lady Scottish program. Overall, the golf season started July 21st. A lot of pressure probably leading into playing in these regional tournaments that may have had some impact on some of the performances of our local golfers. But as it always happens, some people have a bad day on the course, and some people have unexpectedly good days on the course, and apparently that's what golf does to you. Anyway, this is Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB Channel 6 local channel. We'll be right back.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6 local channel. We air every Thursday at 6 p.m. Trevent had to skip out. He had some work he had to take care of outside of talking about sports. So we're going to close out this show with a little bit of soccer talk. The boys' 15th district seeding is set. Glasgow finished undefeated. They are 6-0. They finished off in strong fashion against Barren on Tuesday night, beat them 9-2. That really kind of shocked me. Barron's been playing better, I thought, lately. I'm not sure what happened. And Glasgow was coming off a bit of a stunning loss at LaRue County, 2-1 the week before. So maybe they were taking it out on the Trojans. I'm not sure. There's some videos you can catch on the 104 The Score Twitter page from the game, and looked like Glasgow was just executing extremely well. I was unable to make it to that game. I was at the regional golf. My son went and took photos and covered the game for us. So, yeah, it looked like they were just executing extremely well on the offensive side, and Barren, I guess, was struggling defensively to slow them down. I do think the Trojans have been playing better, and I do think they will be playing Warren East in the first round of the district tournament. I'm not exactly sure. That may be about a week and a half from now, maybe the weekend at the start of the fall break, maybe the way that works out. I got to check. We'll have some info on 104thescore.com, and of course we'll talk about it more next week. But the two games between Barren and Warren East were real close. The second one went to penalty kicks that Warren East eventually won. That's the 2-3 matchup in that district tournament, and it will be, I believe it'll be a barn burner. Lawrence Niken is back. Bobby, as people call him, is back as the head coach at Barren County for the boys, and he's, he's a heck of a coach. I always have faith in him getting his teams ready, especially for tournament games and that kind of thing. Glasgow they had two narrow wins over Warren East. Now, the first one they won, which was a little bit surprising to me because Jared Malagon and maybe Darwin Hernandez did not play in that game. There were a couple people who didn't play in that game. So the second one went into overtime. Malagon was there, scored 2 goals. He's their primary goal scorer. He's tough with the ball on his feet. And so I do think Glasgow's playing pretty well outside of that LaRue County loss. I'm not sure what happened there. Been playing really well the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so. So they're going to be tough to deal with in that district. On the girls' side, Warren East is a 1 seed, Barron's a 2, Allen's a 3, Glasgow's the 4. Even though Barren and Glasgow are playing tonight, it doesn't really affect the seeding in the district just because of the way things worked out. Warren East has clearly been the best team in the district. The Barren-Allen game, Barron's got to be favored in that 2-3 matchup. Allen's coming along. That program's improved quite a bit since it got started. Glasgow got their first goal last week, ended up losing the game 3-1, but you can see the development of that team. Bunch of young players, only 1 senior. Scott Zettlemore is playing a lot of young players, and they've got a fairly decent middle school group that's going to be coming up. They may still be a couple of years away from getting back to where they need to be, but you can see the growth as they play throughout the season. The first meeting between Barren and Glasgow, Barren won 4-0, so we'll see what this turnout is like tonight. We got a couple of weeks left in the volleyball season, and Warren East is 1 in the 15th district. Barren County and Allen County split during the regular season. I think both went to, Barren won the first one 3-1. The second setup, Allen won 3-2, went to the 5th match. And so Glasgow's going to be the 4 seed. Warren East, 2nd or 3rd best team in the region right now. They've been right there. It's Bowling Green's 1, and then Warren East and Greenwood are, I think, neck and neck. Logan County's really good this year, too, in the region. So, that district tournament will be, I believe, the week after fall break. It's amazing. We are closing in here on the end of the fall sports seasons for everything except for football. We still have half the season left in football at this point, but we're getting into the meat of the football season as well with the district schedules coming up. As we mentioned, Glasgow's playing Adair, and then next week Barren and Caverna will start playing their district schedules. So, you know, the leaves aren't turning yet, but we're not far away from that either, and I'm looking forward to that as well. All right, this is James Brown here on Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6, a local channel. See you next week.